Is it on? It is now. How y'all doing out there? It's summer for a lot of people, not so much here. It's off and on. It does what June does in the Pacific Northwest. It's like 90 and then 50 and then 90 and then 50. So that's what we're doing. So I won't complain too much because when August hits, it's going to be like 90, 91, 90, 92.
And then you're going to get swamp ass. So you can't go outside. Yeah. No.
We are so humid here. It's awful in the 90s every day.
I'm going zero of the places. I'm staying right here, glued to this chair.
I like your shirt, Johnny.
Equality is greater than division. That's what it is. Shout out to Budapest, who Orban said, you will not have anything resembling an LGBT pride parade in my country. And 100,000 people said, just watch us. And they went marching from town hall, went across the bridge, went everywhere. So shout out to Budapest.
I mean, like, what are they going to do? Arrest every single citizen?
He had police presence, and the police presence pretty much just separated because they took the crowd in a different direction because there was a small group of protesters that they didn't want to clash with this big sea of people coming down the street with their rainbow flags. And so that's pretty much all the police presence did.
But like I said, what was he going to do? Arrest the entire citizenry?
Yeah.
Like millions of people?
Like Trump wanted to do in the Black Lives Matter protests, shoot rubber bullets at their legs.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot them in the leg. But not even rubber bullets. He just wanted the military to shoot them in the legs.
Mm-hmm.
I forget where it was. It's just happened, though, because it's Pride Month. And so right now they're having a straight people's pride festival somewhere in Kentucky, somewhere. And I think like maybe 80 people showed up. And when you like looked at the whole thing, it was just like a pocket of people here and a pocket. It looked like just a normal day at a park because it was people sitting at a bench and it was two weirdos doing a podcast from the thing. And like,
so what you're saying is it looked like Trump's military parade.
Worse. Yeah.
Where was that?
I don't remember where it was because I just kept seeing the people talking about it on YouTube. So they were showing clips of it, but I forget where they said it was. But it was a straight pride parade or event or whatever it was. And so they had all the straight people come together and
was it successful? You want to have a party, you better invite some gay people.
they had a little podcast and they had a grill set up, I think, too. But it looked just like a park, just like a normal everyday day at the park type of thing. There was no real big parade. There was no bunch of people. There was no media coverage other than people snapping pictures like, look at these fools over here.
Straight pride, though, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, we all know you're heterosexual. We don't care. Just like we don't care that gay people are gay or that transgender people are trans or that asexual people are asexual. You all made it a thing. Like,
yeah. And then had a parade for it, and then nobody showed up.
Did you see the Politico news reporter, which Trump hates Politico, right? They've done a lot of articles. It was coming back from vacation with his family, and he got held up at ICE because he had on his phone a meme of baby JD Vance.
He looked like a Cabbage Pail kid.
And there was a guy from trying to come in from the Netherlands that also had that meme that got held by ICE.
I saw that they sent him back, and the meme, he looks like one of the Garbage Pail kids, the swollen face.
Yeah.
I tried to get that to be my thumbnail, but it wouldn't get the whole thing. That's Trump, and for those who don't recognize, that's Elon Musk right there.
Yeah, with the black eye.
And then there's the Weeble Wobble head, JD Vance right there.
Heck yeah. I mean, how thin skinned do you have to be to deport somebody for having a meme on their phone?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'd be put in detention for months because I've got so many memes of Trump that I use for thumbnails of my videos.
When Allie was over here the other day, we were like walking around and we were in the village and she said something. She's like, oh, just stop a police officer and ask. I was like, no, you can't do that nowadays because they'll deport you. You know, like, you can't ask the cops because they'll call ICE and you'll get deported. Like, you know, so.
Jen, what you got going on? Anything?
JenLynTarot.com if you'd like to schedule a reading with me or buy a gift card for a reading for someone. Seminar is in October is sold and closed, I believe. I haven't tried to mess with it to see if it accepts anything anymore, but I think it's stopped accepting people registering.
House of Lenormand, what you got going on?
I have never had this happen. See anything wrong with that?
Oh yeah. Oh, bless your heart. What does the top of it look like?
So this whole part, the spine, is not printed correctly, and there's no way I'm putting this on my bookshelf. I went because my bookstore didn't have this, and you know how Barnes and Nobles is. You order something, it takes like 3 months to get there. So I just ordered it on Amazon, and it got here today, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So I just did a return on it and asked for a replacement, but like, did you guys not QA? Was this like printed in house? Like, what the hell happened? You know, like
it went to one of Trump's printers.
All you see is blood. The rest of the title is over here on the front. You know,
it went to a Trump printer. You know, the B will probably fall off.
Seriously, I'm like, what the hell? So, yeah. But
here's Lori. Lori just texted me. We're going to try to go live on July 4th, which is Thursday. Lori, it'll have to be after 5 p.m. Central Time, though.
So,
for me, nothing, and that was on purpose. Next week, I'm going to repeat. I've had the greatest week in the history of mankind. I have answered no text and no emails and no phone calls, no nothing. I think I have 4,000 emails and that many texts, and I have some voicemails. You know, people don't really call me, but I got some voicemails too. But it was nice ignoring the whole world. It really was. Just to detox and decompress from people grabbing at you for attention. And so it was awesome.
And we weren't texting too much this week. Oh, Sacred Sounds of Coffee next Sunday at 10 a.m. is on Gail's channel.
Yeah, I'm a bit ignoring, so that happened. So we shall start.
I loved your video on Trump's cell phone business, Johnny.
To which, you know, there's some people that come out and basically said that there's no way he is going to create a phone on U.S. soil. He has no infrastructure for it, number one. Number two, it costs a lot of money. Number three, he's not going to pay it. So all he's going to do is what they said in the video is get something from overseas and slap his name on.
And here's the thing, when they first announced it and they were saying, oh, we have plans available, I saw all these TikToks of people calling the number and it would go straight to the number you have dialed is not, like, it wasn't even set up. And what Kool-Aid drinking moron thinks this guy is capable of manufacturing a cell phone? I mean, is it one of those, you know, Cracker Jack phones that you just, you know, like what do they call those? Like
It has a cord between you and the next cell phone. A tin can.
A tin can for $47.45. Like,
gotta speak louder.
It wasn't Eric in charge of it, so you know it's
Yeah.
going to be garbled up mess.
yeah, it was the concept of a plan.
The beast phone.
I mean, you know what though? That you got to give it to him, man. The guy has been a complete failure his entire life, but he finally figured out how to grift a bunch of morons in this country, selling them all sorts of stuff they don't need. Gold underwear, parts of his suit from his mugshot, cell phones, ugly tacky shit.
I mean, you a bad mamma jamma if you can sell people your mugshot like this. You are literally a criminal, and people are celebrating it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But tell me how you want to throw Biden in jail.
Yeah.
I thought we liked criminals.
So let's start here.
Oh, SW just gifted 10 Tarot's Apprentice memberships. Grab them, guys.
She's got to pass them out.
Thank you.
So how much would the phones be with tariffs?
$400.
With tariffs, because he's advertising them for $47.45.
That's the plan. So you get the cell phone plan for $47.45, and you get the phone for $400. Meanwhile,
probably can only call your next door neighbor.
There is zero way you're going to manufacture a whole cell phone from scratch on U.S. soil for $400.
Johnny, their hats, their T-shirts, all their MAGA gear, their cult paraphernalia, none of that is made here. None
His
of it.
watch that the T fell off of.
Yeah, where it says rump. The $600 phone. The $600
the rump phone
watch.
If you put the rump phone in your hip pocket, it'll probably burn a hole in your butt.
Give you radiation poisoning in your butthole.
That has to be that has to be a cosmic joke that his name would have rump in it, just so the T can fall off. Okay. So Donald Trump wants to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate the 2020 election. Bearing in mind also that they are about to start, not debate whether they're going to do it, they are about to start teaching in the land of Oklahoma that there were discrepancies in the 2020 election. This is their pet project right now. Not, securing the border or fixing the blah, but no, the 2020 election.
Not cheaper eggs.
That he lost.
Not cheaper eggs, not cheaper healthcare, not cheaper groceries, not cheaper gas. No.
Or even oil dependency. No. So he's appointed this special prosecutor, and some of the MAGAs are cheering about it. And I can't help but think, will this backfire? It's kind of like the super ninjas or the cyber ninjas, whatever they were, when they went in. And just like even the recounts that some of them did during the 2020 election, when you recount it, it's like, oh, yeah, Joe Biden actually got more votes than we originally counted.
Well, I would love nothing more than for them to start investigating this, and it goes to discovery, and then it's found out that, oh, he cheated in 2020, which would open another whole can of worms for 2024. If you guys are watching Election Truth Alliance, the numbers that just came out of North Carolina are insane. Pennsylvania and New York. So please, I mean, this guy is just...
He's all projection. Everything that he's doing. Let me investigate everybody else for it.
He is a master of shooting himself in the foot every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the question?
Will this backfire? Will this have the intended consequence? Like they want to go and prove Joe Biden cheated or something because he won. I remember the stories. I was there. They found bags of votes sitting on the curb of someone's house. Stop counting, recount. Stop counting, recount. That came out of his mouth, remember. Will they find... Will this backfire?
Yes. Yes. Nostalgia. Probably should have just left well enough alone in the past. When completed, victory for Republicans was bullied and premeditated bullying too. So, stolen. Trump was out in the cold as the leader, but there were changes in the votes. I get it's going to put Trump in defense mode. He's going to try to block the release of the report, but I think there's going to be a whistleblower on it that releases it and talks about things that were changed on Biden. He may tamper with it too, like tamper with the report, just like Barr did with the report. Thank you, Brenda.
Mueller report.
Mueller report.
I get an abundance of fraudulent results. Fraud, abundance, results. I asked, will him investigating the 2020 election backfire? Fraud, abundance, results. So it's just telling me there's going to be an abundance of fraudulent results.
Yes, a lot of information is there, and a lot of information could come out, but it is not the information that they were released because it is not favorable. The star card and the four of swords, they're going to retreat from all of that. So, but yes, the star is your guidance. That's where you can go and look for things. The Hierophant, the ace of swords, which is truth and clarity. So yes, it could come out. Six of wands, truth emerges. The six of pentacles, giving information, but again, four of swords. They'll hold it because it's just like the Epstein thing. He's all over the files. He's all over the pictures. He's all over the island. He's all over the evidence, but they're never going to show you that because that would be part of their plan.
There's a part of me that wonders, is he doing this for his own ego, or is he doing it to manufacture stuff so that they can go after Biden? Like how Merrick Garland failed to hold him accountable for what he did.
Sounds ego-driven to me.
I'm surprised he hasn't tried to come up with something to go after Obama for.
I mean, but it's the last person that was in his ear that, you know, lives rent-free in his head. So
that won a Nobel Peace Prize.
He has to beat him next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to bounce around here. I want to know. Actually, let's go here. Let me pardon for a second. Let me read. On Friday, reported by the New York Times, California's glossy-haired governor, as they called him in the article, filed a lawsuit in Delaware, where Fox Incorporated is located, I guess, accusing the network of defaming him over the coverage of the phone call for Donald Trump. They seek Dominion-sized damages of $787 million. Gavin Newsom is suing Fox News for defamation. He had a call with Donald Trump, and then they spun it to their liking and then reported it basically incorrectly, but then wouldn't pull back the segment. And they haven't taken it down still to this day. And so he is suing them for $787 million. Now, mind you, I don't know if he ever thinks to get that, but it's the principle that counts. This is putting them on blast to say, okay, you still won't take that segment down, so now there's a lawsuit. Now they have to defend against it.
I wish, and I hate to say this because know if he's personally suing them or if the state is suing or if it's Gavin Newsom, but I wish more people would do this.
Yes.
And hold these, because apparently losing 787 million to Dominion was not enough. We got to keep lying. So, and there's a reason why they're not allowed in Canada and the UK and Australia.
These ICE people are going to have tons of lawsuits later. It's like, I don't care if Trump pardons you, but you're going to have civil lawsuits where you injured people and wrongfully arrested people. If not from the people directly, from their families, it's like they're going to be sitting in court forever.
Dude,
tell you something when your whole network is banned from a whole country.
From several countries, Johnny.
Yes.
Canada, Australia, and the UK. The entirety of the UK. So what's the question? Will Newsom win the lawsuit against Fox?
Yeah. How will this work out?
And that's where I think, Mom, that it's not feasible because, I mean, I guess that one billionaire governor could do it, but if every individual governor had to take them on civilly and sue them, who can afford that,
Newsom's got strength on his side. They're going to work out some kind of deal before it goes to court because his case is strong. So, he's got victory already in his hands here. And I get they're going to mull it over and do some kind of settlement, some kind of arbitration or agreement, which means they'll have to do a retraction or whatever on their news channel.
They didn't even do that with Dominion.
But when it's all complete, I get there's a woman that's going to bring another lawsuit.
They didn't even do that with Dominion, though. They just never mentioned it again.
It's going to grow. There's going to be more and more that go after them because he's going to be successful at it.
I get that there's one in particular that's going to take the spotlight. So whoever was making the false claims, they're in trouble. But overall, Newsom looks successful. Like he's got a very strong, loyal, he's protected and strong and has the energy. So it goes in his favor. But there's one person in particular, a man, King of Clubs. There's a man that might be in the crosshairs, or is maybe the person that said that was making false claims, or I don't know. I just saw that he's suing Fox News. I don't know who, if it was a man.
I can't remember who said it. But it's kind of like when the last time after Dominion, they let Tucker go.
They let Tucker go because of what was found in Discovery when he was shit-talking thanks, Edie. When he was trash-talking the executives. That's why he lost his job. Because all of that came out in Discovery. Not for what he did. Let's not get it twisted. He got fired because he was talking smack about the executives and it got leaked in Discovery. But this is showing that Gavin Newsom's case is strong, but there's one man in particular who may have been the one that was saying stuff that might be in the crosshairs.
Thank you, Edie.
I don't know if that was Sean Hannity or if it was that other guy that gets on my nerves. Well, they all do on Fox.
Seven of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles would be Fox News. Seven of Cups is a lot of confusion around. There is going to be, this is like scrambling. There's going to be basically a lot of finger pointing. I don't think he's going to get money necessarily, but he's going to get his intended effect. So if what he intended to do was to bring them to the forefront and then let everybody else hit them like the piñata, because there's a woman here who creates more of a stir, the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Wands. She has a new action. Word of warning is the King of Cups. This man here, whoever the one is with the polished image, who wants to look pretty on TV.
They're saying Jesse Waters is
Jesse Waters.
There's a pretty man here, or a man who believes he's pretty. But there's a woman here who causes more of a stir. It causes a lot of anxiety, though, too. So this may not be connected to like a defamation. This may be whatever else in there in the Fox News sphere, but it causes a problem. Well, good for them. I mean, you know,
It's just like,
There's only that one lady on Fox that I like to listen to that gives them all hell. For,
I mean, it's just maybe that's what it's going to take. It's just people suing him into oblivion, and even then, they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Like, it's like, I mean, what they paid Dominion was a slap on the wrist.
do it anyway.
I know, do it anyways, because even though they have billions, you sue them for enough millions, it starts to add up. You know.
Okay.
There's a meme I've seen for years now about Fox News that says Fox News has done to an entire generation what we've been told video games would do to our youth.
Mm-hmm.
Make it violent and angry and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Fox News has done to an entire generation of people.
It's the most dangerous thing in the U.S., I say.
Mm-hmm.
hey, Adam.
A potential lucrative agreement between the cannabis company Trulieve or Trulieve, Trulieve, and disgraced, this is not a biased article at all, and disgraced former Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida, was leaked this week thanks to a curious onlooker who snapped a photograph of his laptop on an airplane.
When he was texting his mom. Mm-hmm.
He
had a sketchy deal going on because of many reasons, I'm sure. And somebody was like, click, click.
Yeah, they were sitting behind him on the airplane. Like, I've seen the video a couple times. It's kind of hard, but his mom is just as crazy as he is, if not worse. If not worse.
Yeah.
What was he texting her? What was captured? Because I didn't see this.
Well, what they found, he was texting. What they found interesting, I should say, was the deal between him and the weed company. That's what was, I guess, the center of this article, anyway.
Oh, okay.
And he was saying, apparently someone sitting behind me on a flight recorded me without my knowledge. They found me texting my mother about the news of the day, family finances, and working on my laptop. Please let this be a reminder to everyone to call your mother and maybe get a screen protector, he said. But according to the photograph reported by the Daily Beast, the proposed agreement would entitle Matt Gaetz to an initial $250,000 for legal representing consulting and administrating related guidance to this company, lobbying, aka $250,000 initial, right? Then the agreement also, they got all this from his laptop. Then the agreement also details a success fee. If certain conditions are met, I left off a word, super success fee. The super success fee is partially obscured in the photographs, but it appears to be in the range of $2 million.
I just saw the part where he was telling his mom, I have $500,000 in the bank and I have all this money in real estate and stuff like that. I'm like, it's nice to know you have $500,000 sitting in your account while the rest of us are living paycheck to paycheck, barely able to afford mortgages, healthcare, insurance, and put food on the table. Oh, and put gas in the car to get to work. Nice.
Which is another thing. This whole business of a person going, they make what, $100 and something thousand a year, and they all leave millionaires. Why is that not like a thing that just switches the voters' spider senses on and say, how did you become a millionaire making $100?
Because all these people have been, they've been not brainwashed, but like.
But it's the ultimate distraction. Look over there, not over here.
Yeah.
Look at the gays and the trans in the bathroom. Don't look at
They deserve all that money because they're running a country. Excuse me?
Lindsey Graham said that this is necessary because they have to maintain 2 residences. And so it takes a lot of money. because you have to be in Washington and you still have to live in your home state too.
Have you heard of I don't know, renting?
Or cry me a river. Don't take the job then.
Or renting?
Yeah, a lot of them
really easy
get
to
homes together.
It's really easy to sit here and look down their noses at American people when they don't even know that the majority of Americans cannot afford rent in this country on their paycheck, but you're going to complain that you have to have 2 mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're your betters. Your betters.
And I didn't know this. According to the article, it said that Trump nominated Gaetz for his pick for AG last year. I didn't know that part.
Oh yeah, he did. He got before it went to vote, he dropped out because there was too much crap coming up on him.
All his misconducts. Okay, so now I know we know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Will any legal ramifications come of this? Because he is lobbying because of his proximity to Donald Trump. People are giving him money, saying, because in this article it also says that he is cashing in on his closeness with the Trump administration, because his history also shows an openness to rolling back the restrictions on marijuana. And so he's trying to lobby the White House to favor this company.
And here's the thing, John Boehner. Do you remember him?
Mm-hmm. Crybaby
John Boehner was completely anti-marijuana until he left the House, and he turned right around and started lobbying for him because it pays. So don't tell me they care if you're smoking and drinking and driving. They sure as hell don't care if you're storming the Capitol about how much money they can make. So what's
Are there any legal consequences for his lobbying? Now, mind you, lobbying, according to them, is not against the law or anything. But with this kind of
Pay to play backhand
deal, there's something else going on under the surface, I'm sure. So, is there any legal ramifications?
Yes, to register as a lobbyist.
That's another thing. You know, 3 of Pentacles was never dark money until I started reading on politics.
I'm going to make this comment just to, because I saw what Raymond was saying. Did you all see Jasmine Crockett light up Melania?
The Einstein visa.
I played that on like 5 times. It was fantastic.
Matt Gaetz, you don't have good karma, buddy. Everything you do, you get caught. He's going to have a really, really hard time. Wait, I'm all alone. You're muted, Becca.
I'm sorry. I said I'm here. I don't know what Johnny's doing. He probably fell out of his chair. We need to send a.
Are you laughing, Johnny?
We need to send him a.
It's 80 degrees in here. I had to go turn the air on.
I was like, I'm all alone. Matt Gaetz does not have good karma. This is not going to go well for him. He's got a surprise coming, and I think he's stealing from all these donors. He's lying, so he's grifting. Yes, he's going to have a legal problem. Illumination on this. All my yes cards. And then somebody's going to look into something else that he did and take an action against him. So, dude, he's going to end up with like 10 court cases before he's done. He's got a lot of problems coming legally.
Is it going to be about this? I don't think so. I think it has to do around other stuff. That was a business deal or money deal. Friends and allies, people that he trusted, secrets and knowledge, business, a lot of business, and a lot of friends that are holding secrets. So pick one. Trafficking minors, sex parties, drugs, Shady business deals, insider trading because he had knowledge of business. Friends, knowledge, business. I mean, pick one. Pick one out of a hat, but not during this administration. Not during this, because that would mean Pam Bondi and would. So don't hold your breath. Just wait.
Okay.
He probably went to one of P. Diddy's freak offs.
3 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles. No, not yet. There is a bunch of stuff that you could get for like dirty dealings and backdoor money and all that kind of stuff, but it would have to wait. It's not time for that type of thing yet. The 6 of Cups and the 4 of Swords, there are familiar people on his side. The 4 of Swords is rest. They're not doing anything. No action is taken. So right now, no. But the Fool and the 5 of Wands, the journey is not over yet. So you're not in the clear, not even by a little bit. The journey goes all the way to the World card. So the Fool has a ways to go before it's complete. And there's the 5 of Wands, which is conflict and politics. And so it is not over. It's just not started either. Okay. Eric Trump had an interview. Elmer Jr.
Don't have to say anything else. Eric Trump. I paste Eric Trump. Let me just absorb that a second. Okay.
He had an interview. He had to use human words instead of goat ones. But he had an interview where he said any of our family could go into politics and be very successful at it.
Yeah, because his dad probably told him all how to cheat.
And I guess the question came around to, would he ever run for president?
Melinda says, call him by his legal name. I eat paste.
Yes. Elmer's glue. There's
I eat paste. Beavis and Butthead over there.
He said, this was his response, that I could totally do it. I'm paraphrasing. I could totally do it, but would you want to put your family through that? You know, the whole media circus and all that type.
Oh yeah, because it might interfere with Lara's singing career.
I mean, she's working on her next, platinum album right now.
Can you imagine
blues?
She could sing and perform at his inauguration.
That's Lara Trump's album right there.
Available on iTunes. So he believes he could be president one day. He said, but would you want to, that's the big question, would you want to put your family through this? Right after that, he said, I'm thinking about it. Now I'm thinking to myself, if you have a family and you're trying to protect their interests, then the question ends there. Why would I want to put my family through that? The end. Not why would I put my family through that? I'm thinking about it. What is Eric Trump?
Don't strain yourself, Eric. Don't overthink it. What is what, Johnny? I'm sorry.
What is his political future, if any? Oh, Lord have mercy.
Well, my future will be I'll have my Halloween costume for the next 4 years.
I'm totally getting some yams this year. I am. I really am.
First Halloween, petty boots. I went as I eat paste. Go back a few years.
Political future. He said anybody. And can you imagine Don Jr. being the president of the United States? Mercy. Walk through the hallways with just trails of powder everywhere.
I mean, it's like they want to be the next Kennedys. You know what I mean? I don't know because it was way before my time, but I've always heard the rumors that the Kennedys were linked to the mafia. I don't know how much truth there is to that.
Weren't they all cursed too?
But these mofos right here, yeah, the Russian mafia, the Israeli mafia, all the mafias, all of them.
Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
Oh my God, my guides are being petty.
I mean, okay.
Eric, first of all, your daddy's going to throw you under the bus. Ba-bump, ba-bump. Eric Trump. Oh, I would love to do this. Yeah, no. Wifey Poo's got a better chance at a singing career, and you're probably going to be making some license plates somewhere. Dad's going to bully you, so he's going to throw the blame on you, and you like your dad. Loser.
Does he have a political future? No. He's got a very long time of legal problems for a long time. There's fights, courts, long time.
Better find a grip, because you're going to need to pay legal fees.
And here's the thing. Trump is the cult leader. It's very hard for when you have a cult based on personality, not ideology, personality, for that to transfer once that person goes back to the mud. It's a very small window to get in there, and the only way to do it is to try to deify yourself. And he doesn't have it. He lacks the charisma, even though I think Trump has no charisma. I guess he has charisma towards, cousin effers, but Eric doesn't have it. So it's like, once he's done, that's it. The cult, it'll slowly fall apart, but he won't be able to get that for himself.
Because the only way he could cultivate Donald Trump's current cult is if Donald Trump put him in a position where he could also be deified, like his vice president of cult operations.
Yeah. Even Vance won't be able to do it. None of them will. None of them.
And you can build all your expensive hotels in Qatar that you want to. You're a laughing stock in the world, so even the rich aren't going to go support your hotels down the road.
And what's interesting too is the only reason some rich people are supporting them is because they're looking out for their own self-interest.
Yeah.
But
pro quo.
They don't care if that name is mud. They don't care if those people are globally or global laughing stock. Like, they make toilet paper with Trump's face on it. Think about that. Like, I mean, so it's laughable to think that you're going to have any capital at all. Whatever.
I don't get political future. The 10 of Cups and the Ace of Wands, he is more so going to be concerned with family life and new things that they're doing there. A lot of little secret deals, High Priestess, 2 of Cups, that type of thing. So he's just talking, mind you. If nobody would have brought it up, he probably wouldn't have said anything. So he's talking like his dad.
And here's the thing, if they were so successful, why isn't his wife selling platinum albums? Do you see what I'm saying? If you had that, if Trump can record an album right now and his base would go and buy 20 freaking copies on cassette, on 8 tracks, on freaking vinyl, on digital, everything. Meanwhile, Eric Trump, I eat paste, and his wife over there trying to make music videos where they're like staring at a wall going like this in an alley, looking like they're doing a coke deal for, Jimmy.
Licking the walls.
You can't sell an album because they don't care about them. You're not the face of the cult at all.
Her album went wood, as they say. So, public service announcement. Okay. There's this line in the sand for some where Democrats can do no wrong. It's called an echo chamber. And we can't call them to the carpet because it's bashing the Democrats. Here on the Terrell's Apprentice, I care nothing about that. Okay. I just want to let you know now. So if that hurts your little heart, then go find something else to do. But calling a person to their position and asking them to work is not bashing. If you ran for office, you have a duty to that office and to the American people. If you got into that office and then you refuse to do anything, then we get to call you out on that. So I have a couple of dim unifying questions here. The first one is going to start with Mom Donnie up there in New York.
Ooh,
The socialist.
Johnny, did you see the Trump administration is already trying to have his citizenship taken away and taken
Because
him
he's a terrorist now.
Uh-huh. Not the
Here's
actual
my problem, though. I expect that from him.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening is the dim leadership is calling him basically all kinds of names except Mom Donnie.
And
They're saying that he's a snake oil salesman, that he's all... This is what they're doing there at the top.
And let me remind you for those of you in the back that want, we need to stick together. He was running against Cuomo, who was a corrupt piece of crap, who sexually assaulted women and sexually harassed women and then stalked them and terrified them to keep their freaking mouth shut. So if you want to go to the Dem party and say this is totally okay, don't you dare sit there and point the finger at Trump and his administration when you're going to give a pass to the Dem leadership that's propping up that sort of person on our team.
And Andrew Cuomo got millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for his shell of a campaign because he didn't campaign very hard. He took, to pardon a couple of debates and the this and the that over there. But Bloomberg and everybody who's anybody came out and poured millions of dollars into Cuomo because he was the shoe-in, because he's the New York elite and all these type of things. And then Mom Donnie beat him. And now he goes up against Eric Adams, and then Eric Adams is on the attack, as he should be, because that's his opponent. But other Democrats are joining him and saying that he's a socialist piece of crap, and there's no way he's going to be able to do all of that. And what he's going to do is scare off all the millionaires, and all the millionaires are going to leave New York, and then everybody's going to be broken down.
Yeah, and mind you, the ones that are saying the most about him are the ones who voted not to impeach Trump last week.
Oh, by the way,
had your chance.
For that whole thing, though, I will say this. I was livid when I saw that. Livid. I just had a town hall with my congressman who was endorsed by Bernie Sanders back in 2016, and he's been my congressman ever since. He held a town hall, and that question was brought up by every single person. And the way that he explained it was the way that they brought the bill to the House, it was a vote to table. And they didn't even know what was on those impeachment. They didn't know the charges. So that's why they voted no. So that was, they didn't, even AOC said that. They brought the articles of impeachment and didn't give anybody time to read it. At all.
Didn't read it out. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't have a chance to read it. So that's that whole situation.
It'll probably come up again.
So for Johnny's thing, ask yourselves why the Democratic Party would be pushing so hard to back a person as disgusting as Andrew Cuomo.
Because he's appeals to the donors.
Yes. Don't you dare point the finger at Donald Trump and say what a disgusting piece of crap that is. The way that he treats women is just exactly the same way Cuomo treats women. So
it'd be like saying Menendez should be the Secretary of Treasury with his gold bars.
You can't have it both ways. You can't point the finger over there and not look at yourself in the mirror and call out your own party when they're doing just as that.
Because here's my thing, because it's all of the videos of Mom Donnie are circling of him running a campaign talking to voters, not to the elite and to the donors and to the this. The last one I seen, Roland Martin had it on his show, where he went to the halal stand and said, how much is it? They said $10. And they basically, they have a permit but they have to pay the person who holds the permit, and that person then also has to pay the this. So they have all of these middlemen that they have to pay just to have that stand on that sidewalk. They can't buy their own permit. They basically have to do the upcharge and all these type of things. And he says, what would you charge for halal if you had your own permit? They said $8, because their costs would go down if they didn't have all these middlemen in order just to sell and open their stores. There are 3 bills or 4 bills or something like that on Eric Adams' desk about vendors and permits and things like that. He refuses to bring it up. He refuses to look at it. No votes on it, no nothing, no action on it whatsoever. It's there already. It's something that someone has addressed, brought it to Eric Adams, and he's done nothing. Meanwhile, this is the person kissing up to Donald Trump because he had a federal investigation. And the governor of New York said, just leave him alone. Leave him there. It'll be okay. This is what I'm talking about. This is not bashing Dems to just point out what they're actually doing.
And here's the thing. Turn off the damn news, because that's not news. That's infotainment.
Yes.
And go and sit and watch C-SPAN and get educated on what they're voting on and what's on those bills. Because everything you're seeing on MSNBC, CNN, and all that stuff, that's all sensationalism. Are they actually talking about policies that are being brought up? Are they talking about who is being funded by who? Are they talking about what lobbyist bills are being brought to the floor to vote? Are they talking about who voted how? No. Trump did this. Secretary of State did that. Yada. And meanwhile, they're doing all sorts of... Donald Trump and this administration is the clown show that we're looking at, while everybody's over there in the back corner doing all sorts of bad stuff. So, and I got to say this about Mondami. The last time we had an upset like this was AOC.
Yeah.
When she knocked out
he's another grassroots candidate that raises money from the ground up, like Bernie and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, I have 2. I want to know, I'm gonna zero in on him, because you don't have to like him. I'm not telling you to like him and to vote for him and all that. Every Dem doesn't have to be a socialist. Fine. But what I want to know, because this is a bigger issue, remember Jasmine Crockett said that the donors came to her, and her and a few other people that were in that meeting, and said, we need a safe white guy to run for president. Not a woman, not anybody of color. We need a safe white guy to run for president, because that's what's going to get the donors. That's what's going to get the votes. That's what keeps them in office, that type of thing. She also said that, well, not she also said, but that article has come out already that George Clooney is helping pick the next person. And they already have 3 people on the list. 2 of them was a guy and 1 of them was a woman. And so they're shaping it already, whether you like it or not. So I'm not saying you have to like anybody. I'm saying, but in the background, all of that is going on. So just be aware of it. So when you have people who pop up with the grassroots, understand that they will be against not just Republicans, but Democrats too, because you don't fit the mold. Look at what's the child, David Hogg, who came out and said, we need new leadership. And then they all said, how dare you? And then was kicking them out. So my question,
that's exactly what the base of the Democratic Party is screaming for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, move more to the right, move more to the right, move more to the right. We know. Like it's just like
when we say we want the money out of politics, we want it out of both sides. We want our votes to count.
Exactly. So I want to look first at Mamdani versus Eric Adams to see if he will prevail there.
Wait, is Eric Adams? That's the current mayor.
Mm-hmm.
The one that has been selling out New York in favor of...
He's an independent now.
Trying to get a pardon from the Orange in Chief, the corrupted piece of crap, New York.
He's now doing what, though? Wait, what'd you say,
He's
Jody?
running against Mondami.
Oh.
With all of his...
Well, unless you got Palantir and Musk in there fixing it, I don't think that Eric Adams stands a chance of ever...
Mind you, Eric Adams got raided. Keep that in mind, too.
He was indicted for bribery and corruption.
He was.
And then he went and started kissing ass to Trump, begging for a pardon. And the governor was like, I could remove him, but I'm not gonna. And she's a Democrat too, so I guess she's okay with it.
The only way Adams will win, wait, what's on the bottom? Bullying is because he's out in the cold. There's no way, is if somebody works at hanging on to votes. So the only way he'll win is if they rig it.
I think this whole thing that we've been talking about, New York and North Carolina and Pennsylvania, needs to be looked at, because this says widespread manipulation and fraud. And there's already meetings about it, and there's been conversations, negotiations, phone calls, meetings, all about it. But this is widespread manipulation.
This one's coming up in October, November of this year.
So there better be a hand recount. When you go vote, you better get a freaking receipt that this is how you voted, and this is the receipt that it was counted like this and tabulated like.
Because check online with how it was tabulated.
Fraud, widespread communications.
It's not a shoe-in. It should be, but it's not. Again, you don't have to like Mondani, and that's not the point I'm trying to raise in this. The point I'm trying to raise is a grassroots versus the establishment type of thing. When the people get behind something, that should count. Not the people who put money into everything. But we know what world we live in, so I'm not trying to rose-colored glass it or anything. But the Nine of Pentacles and the Five of Wands, the security is in conflict. And so this is not secure. Not secure as in hacking or anything like that, but this is not secure as an influence. The Six of Wands and the Black Man here fight King of Pentacles. And so he is the favorite. But bear in mind, Cuomo was the favorite too. So he is the favorite right now because he has, mind you, this was the ex-police chief. So he's got the establishment behind him. So there is government and the Ten of Wands. For Mamdani to get in, it is going to be very difficult. There is also the Five of Pentacles, which is a lack of support in this instance here. And so the support is not lacking. It's the access to the government. And so there's blockades in the way, influence and money. But mind you, all it takes is a vote, because he was blocked before by the big money and Andrew Cuomo and Bloomberg dropping in public millions of dollars through the super PAC and then in private, whatever. Thank you, Patty. But his access to the government is going to be a very rough road, but it can be turned around by public support.
And don't forget special interest. Special interest will play a huge role in all. And I'm not just talking special interest like super PACs. I'm talking about establishment politicians.
And mind you, what has been circulating all of the news cycles is people trying to drum up a fear that he's going to drive all the millionaires out by asking them to pay more taxes.
Didn't they do the same thing with AOC though?
Yeah.
It's the fear mongering. It's like, I'm sorry, but if you have billions of dollars and the human lifespan will say, because you're a billionaire, you're lucky if you'll get to 109, 110 years old. Are you going to spend all those billions of dollars in the 50 years you have left? Why do you need more? What are you going to do? Are you going to eat it? Are you going to dress in it? Are you going to make your furniture? Are you going to build a house out of your stacks?
And if the nuclear apocalypse comes, it's not going to be worth it.
I mean, I just don't understand it. I don't.
Thank you, Uncle Fatty. I asked it the other way. I asked, will Mamdani win? And he's growing. This is a yes card for me. He's got the strength and climbing to higher ground, but he will be out in the cold if they do some massive work on the votes. So I think they'll manipulate it.
Okay.
I'm over here shedding like a freaking like crazy, dude. What the hell?
Shedding? Are you part dog, cat? Cat dog.
Summer coat.
Our summer coats shedding out.
Yeah.
Actually, let's go here. When this bill passes, I'm asking this question on the assumption that it will, because when this bill passes, what will be MAGA's response? Give it some time, if you want to say in 6 months or a year or whatever. Because, again, not my Social Security, their Social Security. Not my food stamps, their food stamps. What will be their response when this bill passes?
Not my help for the disabled, their help for the disabled, their health care.
And oh, by the way, higher taxes too.
and 5 trillion more in debt. 5 trillion.
Can you please stop with the mythology that Republicans are fiscally responsible? Can we please stop with that mythology? Can we please stop?
That's a joke.
You know, trickle down works in theory if you do not have greedy people at the top.
No, Johnny, trickle down works every day because they piss down our backs every single day until it's raining. It's pissing down bills and higher costs, but it's raining, just not.
You're supposed to have, the pressed down, shaken together, runneth over, as the Bible say. So all the runneth over, that's your trickle down. Everything you have extra can be for everybody else. So if you got $1 million and you only need 100,000, you got $900,000 to play with. You can enrich your staff. You can help your stores, your shops, your online, your whatever. It could all trickle down, but you cannot be greedy at the top and say, okay, all I need is 100,000, but I got $1 million, so I'll keep 999,000 of it, and y'all play with this dollar.
No, but Johnny, what's wrong with that theory is that it dismisses the basic function of a corporation, and that is to make money.
Bunch of it.
A whole bunch of it.
More than last year. Not meat last year. More than last year.
How are you going to argue that trickle down works when the sole objective of a corporation is to make as much money as possible? They're not going to give it back to the people or the place where they're at. They're going to, we've seen it a million times before, stock buybacks. They pump it back into themselves at the top because the worker at the bottom that's packing your groceries ain't making that money. They're lucky if they get a 35-cent raise, which is not even enough to buy a pack of gum.
25.
You know, it's one thing when you have 12 to 15 million people marching in the street peacefully for No King's Day. It's another thing when you got MAGA out there fighting, because we saw what they did to the Capitol, right? This isn't going to be good. They are not going to like this. They're going to feel bullied. Hemming and hawing back. I think they're hoping that legally somebody will take up a lawsuit on this, but a lot of them will start talking about supporting Dems. They are not going to like this, not at all. And if I was Moses Mike, I'd be real careful. Oh, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not even going to show the cards. I'd be real careful around MAGA.
Everything just went black for a minute on my end, so I missed everything that you said.
Thievery.
What is that?
Thievery. I'd be real careful if I was MAGA Mike.
How are they going to feel about the tax bill? Crossroads, birds, cross, anchor, and coffin. I will say a lot of them are going to be complete. Like right now, a lot of them think that why they're paying such high taxes is because of Joe Biden. None of them have any clue that we're still under Trump's tax plan from 2017. They have no idea. None at all. They still think we're operating under Biden, when in reality, Biden never even put out a tax plan because we were still under Trump's. This is saying that there's going to be some very difficult choices and conversations, and a lot of them are they're going to achieve losses and endings and suffering, multiple areas of suffering and losses and endings. And then talking about how did we get here? Birds and anchor. How did we get here? Well, it's how you voted. Can't blame Biden. Can't blame
Mitch
Biden.
McConnell said, you'll get over it.
You'll get over it. And there's this at the very end of it. So when mama and papa go back to the mud because you can't afford to pay for their medication because their Medicare was cut, and you got to move them back into your home because guess what? The Medicare was cut and they're not paying for them to live in assisted living anymore. And the hospital shuts down because Medicare was gutted.
And the assisted living places and nursing homes shut down. They're saying 3 out of 4 nursing homes would shut down.
And here's the thing. The ones that are going to suffer the most is going to be the red states. Here in blue states, we'll have it rough for a little bit, but we have the resources at the state level to keep a lot of these things open because we make the money. We have the revenue to do it. We have, the budget to do it. Red states, have fun opening up hospitals in rural areas in Mississippi and Alabama. And have
know what, too? Have fun with your governor even caring about such a thing.
Yep. Yep.
Do you think Huckabee is going to do anything for the people of Arkansas?
Nope. She's going to go
she
buy
begged for FEMA money and didn't get it and then just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's living in her mansion, taking her.
She should have been out there with a picket sign saying, I lied for you for 4 years. You should help me.
Yeah. No, she'll just go buy another podium and go on another vacation.
Because before her, remember your Sean Spicer? That was your press secretary. Remember him hiding in the bushes? At least she stood up there. And anyway, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
What will they feel? The 8 of Pentacles and the 3 of Swords betrayed. 8 of Pentacles is your details and your 3 of Swords is betrayal. Once they find out that this hits the heartland, the homeland, your house, you personally, then they feel betrayed. I have a problem with this in particular combination because why don't you feel that way already? I just seen something about, because they keep flashing this on my screen about this Cuban person or this Latino person or this black person voting for Trump and having some sort of regret. No, listen. He is the exact same person with a no leash this time that he was the first time. Remember when he ran for office, he said, I'm going to build a wall between us and Mexico and then force them to pay for it. That right there should have told you who he was and what he stood for. Even if you did not know anything about Donald Trump, that should have been enough. You voted for him then like you voted for him now. So everything that you get is because that's what you want.
And when he didn't achieve building the wall, that should have told you right there, that he lied.
And here's the thing.
The loser.
Why do you need all these sensationalized, unconstitutional, unlawful ICE raids if he was so successful at building the wall? So he either lied about building the wall, blew the money that he stole to build the wall never got built, and you're a moron, or somehow the suckers and losers and trash from Mexico, his words, not mine, outmaneuvered him and found a way over here. Do you realize the mental gymnastics you have to perform to defend him while also defending his policies? Because they don't mesh. Why do we have an immigration problem? You built the big, beautiful wall.
You built the wall.
You built the wall. You bragged about it for years. So why do we still have a problem?
Mind you, there's a video of him sort of diminishing the purpose of his wall. He was talking to some kid, and the kid stood up at one of these things and said, what will the wall be made of? And he was talking about all these different ingredients that were that the wall was going to be made of, and it's going to be 30 feet high, and it's going to be beautiful. Everything's always beautiful. And it's going to keep people out. Yeah, it's going to keep people out. He said, no one's going to be able to get over it unless you have a 31-foot ladder.
So how are they here? How are they here?
So you're going to build a 30-foot wall, but it's still not going to keep people out. All they need is just a larger ladder.
And here's the other part. Like, why these illegal ICE raids that are nothing but speculation? So Steve the Nazi Miller can get a hard on every time he's watching black and brown people getting deported. You know, why are you arresting them at their place of work? I thought you said they were all, you know, welfare queens sucking off the system. Ronald Reagan's words, not mine. Taking all our money. Why are you arresting them at work? Like that doesn't make sense. I thought they were criminals and leeches. Why are they being arrested at work? I mean, I'm telling you, man, the mental gymnastics is exhausting.
I have a question on that, actually. So there are a group of anonymous wealthy business owners, is just the name that was used, that apparently are taking it to Stephen Miller because they have a vested interest in half of their workforce not disappearing. And so, thank you, Rose Blue. So my question is, who will win this out? Because Stephen Miller is committed to his cruelty and he has Donald Trump to back him up. The wealthy business owners, yes, you may have money and you may lobby and you may this and that, but unless you can get all 500 and something members of Congress and 100 in the Senate to go along with you, you're probably not going to override Stephen Miller and his cruelty. So who's going to win this one? The wealthy business owners or Stephen Miller?
Trump said he did 90 negotiations in 90 days, 90 wins. He hasn't had one, not one.
Whoever's writing this story, you're doing a horrible job. I just want you to know. Right? Whoever it is. Whoever's up there in the sky who thinks this is funny, it is not funny at all. Oh.
As a Cuban American, the daughter of refugees, my father was a political refugee. I've been watching all those Latinos for Trump on TikTok losing their mind. Like losing her mind, crying like La Chilindrina on El Chavo de Ocho. All right. Why? He told you exactly what he was going to do. And then they came and took your husband, who was undocumented. And now you're a single mother with no work experience raising 2 disabled children. Oh, and he's about to slash that too. Mm-hmm. What made you, you thought because you look white that they weren't talking about you? I look white. I know damn well they're talking about me. I know my name is probably in a Palantir, whatever the hell database where they're going after all the Hispanics. So I won't be surprised if ICE eventually pulls me over or comes to my house or whatever. Like, what made you think you were so special? I have no sympathy, none at all. Mm-mm.
I can't.
No, I can't. I can't.
He proved to you what he was going to do. He'd been president already, remember?
And then, yeah, we've already seen this once already. The child separation policy. And you guys were totally cool with it because it was the people from South America. Now it's you. And now it's an injustice? It's an injustice and a betrayal?
No.
It's
the game plan.
You gave him the noose to hang you with, is what you did.
And instructions.
Stephen Miller's going to be looking at other options for getting these workers. There's going to be more illumination on what he's done. So you may have to give up one road, but he's going to find another avenue for messaging and try to work with these billionaires or wealthy business owners. It might temper him down a little bit, but ultimately he's going to still go after people. So he's just going to maybe shift like, okay, well, I'll go after this workplace, but I'll leave Jeff Bezos alone, or I'll leave this person alone, or this person.
I'll leave these farmers alone, or
yeah, it's pay to play. Like, give us some money, we'll leave you alone.
I get that his opportunities and the risks that he's taking or will be taking are going to grow more and more uncertain and more chaotic. They're going to become more problematic. This is really bad news. He brings very bad news. If it was this, it would be coming to him, but he leads it off. So do the wealthy donors will have some say, but ultimately he will continue to sow chaos. So I don't think they're going to be completely able to leash him, because let's just say what it is. Trump's not running the country. It's Stephen Miller. It's Stephen Miller. So just, he's going to keep doing what he feels like it, and to hell with everybody else. I saw an article that said that he has $100,000 invested into Palantir too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The hell you even get that kind of money, bro?
He knows how the election was rigged.
You don't want to know who he's friends with, Johnny, and I'm sure you can make some good guesses.
I probably don't need to know, because then I'd have to testify somewhere, I'm sure. The Ace of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Six of Cups. I didn't get an answer to that. There's a new action to, thank you, Sandy, to try to secure something for children. Security, Nine of Pentacles, children, Six of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, the action. So there's something someone's trying to do, Fool and the Knight of Cups, to secure something for children. Maybe the birthright thing and all that.
Haven't they just said that it is estimated that under Stephen Miller's stuff, they've deported over 70 U.S. citizens? And just the other day, they took the wife of a Marine Corps, I don't know if he was a corporal or a lance corporal, while she was breastfeeding her kid. ICE came and took the dude's wife away, who was still pending her paperwork. They just came and snatched her up. And there's nothing the military can do at all. And I bet you that homeboy voted Republican too, if he voted at all.
I want to know, speaking of votes, AOC, it says, asked Trump voters on her Instagram to share why Donald Trump has lost their support. And some of the replies, it says, if you voted for Trump and regret it, can you share why and what shifted you? And it says, I realized I was in an echo chamber and conservative media bubble, propaganda, essentially. He said that if we voted for Kamala, we would enter World War III, and he is the one bombing Iran. Another one said, I thought he was going to clear out the immigration or the immigrants who were criminals, not all immigrants. Another one said, Signalgate, I like some of his policies, but you can't hire totally incompetent people. Another one, I thought Congress and SCOTUS were going to keep him in check.
Wow, I want the drugs that person is on.
This one says, I am an ESL teacher. I love my kids. And he said the only criminals would be targeted, and he lied. Fell victim to the propaganda, didn't listen to the other side, lost a piece of my humanity. One said, for my mom, it was the immediate pardoning of the Jan 6 rioters that took her. And another last person said, the economy is not improving.
Hold on. Go back to the one for the mom when the last straw for her was he pardoned the January 6ers.
The Jan 6 rioters.
So you voted for him even after he committed an insurrection, but then now you're pissed off that he pardoned the insurrectionists when he campaigned on pardoning the insurrectionists. Uh-huh. So you're okay with the act itself.
He pardoned the people that did the rioting. That should have cost the vote right there, right?
It should.
That he instigated. What she misses the point on is he instigated it.
So what I'm saying is you were totally okay with the insurrection. You just drew the line at him pardoning the people. Mm-hmm. So because that didn't deter you from voting for him again.
So my question is, what is the MAGA response for the midterms? Will they all come out and support the Republicans still, or Donald Trump's picks? Because he's kind of a curse sometimes when it comes to picking a candidate to run somewhere. But will they come out, or will have those numbers diminished since January by the time the midterms get here?
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Bots that we saw all over social media. We've been seeing this since 2016. It got amped up significantly once Elon Musk bought Twitter. Bots have a very funny way of not being able to make it out in public spaces outside of the internet because they're not real. So
because they attacked the crap out of Obama. Remember, he was the Kenyan Muslim.
So good luck getting bots to turn up to vote.
Wasn't there some election down in Florida that DeSantis just canceled?
I haven't heard about that.
I don't think it is going to be the greatest turnout in the world. Now, there's not this big, huge blue wave or anything like that, but I do get the Chariot and the Five of Wands. The Chariot would be you pulling the sides together to make something happen. You can achieve victory if you can pull it together, but it comes with the Five of Wands. It's the card of conflict, and so there's an issue there. We're not just talking about these in particular instances here of Jan 6 and immigrants and all that. Remember, by the time the midterms get here, they will know whether or not their food stamps and Medicare and Medicaid and all these things are affected. Their farms are affected and things of that nature. So by the time the midterms get here.
But the thing is, they're speeding up the bill. It wasn't supposed to take effect until I think 2028, 2029. They're speeding it up to where it goes effective 2026.
Mm-hmm. So and Joe is voting on it by July 4th.
So the midterms come up in November, and then by November of next year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
By that point, the budget cuts and everything else will already be in effect, the way that they're pushing the bill. So the shortages and everything is going to be there. Your taxes are going to be higher. You're still going to be paying taxes on the stuff you're not getting services for anyways, and your benefits are going to, so higher bills, lower benefits.
I have to correct what I said. It's not DeSantis that canceled an election. It's Miami canceled their mayor elections because they're going to put them on even years. So
I got the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles is lack and loss, and Five of Cups is also loss and grief. The King of Cups, that's support, lack and loss of support. It will not have a familiar ring where they all come out. The Six of Cups is in the word of warning, so the old times are not going to ring true again. But again, this is not like they lose all their seats or anything like that. But MAGA will have a reduced number, and it will be significant enough to notice.
I get that they're going to be very, 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 very angry, and there's going to be a shortage. And it could be anger about stuff where they're delivering attacks. So perhaps what's going on in Iran, and not just what's going on in Iran. These people, there's two groups in MAGA. One group that was quick to drink the Kool-Aid. We have to get behind him and be patriotic and yada, yada, yada. Then there's the whole other side that's going, he promised us no wars, and this is all started by Israel. We're not paying for this. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's the people that go check the box and then check out, that don't even know what policies, or do you see what I'm saying? And Democrats do that too. You vote and you don't even know what policies are being brought up, what you're voting on. You just look at the D and just mark a check. That's all you do. There's that camp that are completely clueless, and then there's the other camp that's just angry. And I get that there's a shortage. People are angry, they're anxious here, there's shortages. Stuff that's supposed to be delivered is being shorted. So everything he promised you has not been delivered. Your eggs are still higher. Your gas is about to get higher because of the war in Iran. Your groceries is about to get higher. They deported all the freaking farm workers, so have shortages. Do you see what I'm saying? Shortages. So, and bots can't show up in public spaces. So that's another.
I get there's quite a few of these MAGA people, even though we know they're a small percentage of the population. But the image of what all these wealthy oligarchs and Trump, the leader, has done leaves them feeling impoverished and depending on charity and stuff. So I think a lot of them feeling anxious are going to shift their votes, and Republicans are not going to get as it could kill Republicans and basically.
You cannot convince me that they think they have this on lockdown based on what that one lady said at the town hall. Well, we're all going to die. To what Mitch McConnell was caught saying the other day.
They'll get over it.
They'll get over it. I really think that they're like, no, we got this on lockdown. Even if we have to do another coup d'etat, because that's the only way we stay in power, is to subvert the will of the people. They're not going to vote us out because they can't. We've rigged the game against them. And that's the only thing that makes sense, because what they're doing right now is suicide, political suicide.
Goes against all their constituents.
There has been a story about Iranian hackers hacking Truth Social and breaking it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I do not endorse nor condone the act of hacking. I think it's rude. but if you're going to do it,
I mean, don't tease me with a good time. You know what else Iran said? Another thing Iran said?
Thank you, Sue.
That, if there's Epstein stuff, we're going to find it and we're going to release it. And the thing behind that is that there's a widespread, I don't even want to say speculation. People have put the dots that Epstein was connected to Israeli intelligence. That's been going on for years.
Oh yeah, they were.
Yeah, so Iran is like, and if Israel and the states have it, we're going to find it and we're going to leak it. Oh, and by the way, we're going to erase everybody's debt and raise your credit score. I'm like, tease me with a good time, Iran. You know, I could really be happy if I woke up one day and all my debt was gone. Do not tease me with it.
Stay out of my business. My credit score is quite fine. Thank you.
No, I'm not going to get rid of all my debt if you're going to hack everybody. Just
if you go back to 2019, I did a video on Adnan Khashoggi. I highly encourage everybody to go find that video because he was Jamal Khashoggi's uncle, and he was involved in like Iran-Contra affair. He was involved with Epstein using planes of his to run weapons and stuff. This stuff goes way back. Way back.
And they're saying that, I mean, they've been saying it for years that Epstein was linked to Israeli intelligence.
Yeah.
And that was part of the honey traps that the Israeli intelligence was wrapping people up in. So you cannot convince me that the man that likes to grape women didn't also grape young girls on an island.
So my question is, will there be, I don't want to know if they're going to hack Truth Social again. I want to know personally if they will escalate, if they will go after Trump org, if they will hack the systems in Mar-a-Lago, if they will go through some of his other businesses and other interests, will they start attacking those things too?
I mean, it's not like, what are they going to go after? National security? The bastard had it sitting in the bathroom. So it's not, I mean, I'm sure that there's a website somewhere with all the stuff that they got at Mar-a-Lago.
It's probably got stuff there again, you know?
Or on a signal chat conversation in a group text somewhere. Like, So will they get other stuff? Will they hack other stuff?
Again, this is not funny. Whoever is writing this man had classified documents sitting in his bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were
As Jasmine Crockett said, in the shitter.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they were in the shitter at Mar-a-Lago.
Mm-hmm.
I love her.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What was
Hack
the
all
question?
his accounts and freeze all his stuff. Oh, and while you're at it, Ron.
Okay, thank you. I forgot my own question.
While you're at it, Ron, release his medical records because I know for sure that Matt's with a 6'4", 245 pounds. Okay, like I know.
I'm 5'2", blonde hair and blue eyes. If he's 240,
and I'm a virgin. I mean, come on.
Oh my
Ooh,
God.
Becca, I'm anxious to see what you're getting on this.
Go ahead. I got that they already stole a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting who should be in the White House, the work that was done, to claim power over Kamala here that was done a while back, that they're going to release stuff about how it was stolen. Well, that would be interesting if they got into some systems like whether it's Palantirs or Musk or whatever, but
and don't forget, nobody knows what Doge was doing and what backdoors and vulnerabilities they left open. Doge, who was there illegally doing illegal stuff with no oversight at all whatsoever and left all sorts of backdoors, windows, and crawl spaces open for whoever wanted in. So I get that they will continue to hack stuff and they could get in there and steal something that perhaps has to do with briberies and gifts. Also, perhaps something with young girls, Queen of Spades here. There's the stealing, the corruption, and the suffering. So will they hack into other stuff? Yes. And there's going to be stealing stuff that brings suffering and pain around bribes or other stuff. So grifts. I got a yes. Oh my God.
From your lips to God's ears, yes, absolutely. I would fall to pieces if he had a big spirit Halloween thing. Three of Pentacles, yes. His business interests, not just his business interests, but possibly partners too, because this is a card of collaboration. There is a big burden on that, and it's growing exponentially with the Empress and the Ten of Wands. The Empress is normally a very good card. She expands everything. Unless you have something, you do not want to expand it, like burdens. And so that is going to be a very big deal. The Five of Cups is also there, which is loss and regret, sadness, and depression. And so, yes, there will be some loss for old Don and his business interests and anybody else linking up with him too. I think it's more loss of information. I don't think they're necessarily stealing money. Like that, there's that thing. Good Lord, is it called You Want to Cry or something like that? It came out of North Korea. And you would turn on your computer systems and that's what you would see across the screen. Do you want to cry or something like that? And all of your systems were locked and under their control until you paid the ransom. And so that's what that little hacking thing was back in the day. Okay, second petty question though. Let me read the child's. I'm going to try to read his name. He is the head of Ukraine's Parliamentary Foreign Committee, Alexander something. His last name, I don't know. But that's his first name, Alexander. He told Newsweek on Tuesday that he had lost any sort of faith and belief in Trump's ability to secure a ceasefire between Moscow and Kiev. The reason this was important is because he nominated Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize.
You mean to tell me that the guy that has cosplayed a successful businessman and has never been a successful businessman is incapable of making a deal?
No. Negotiating one deal this year, not one.
That he was supposed to do in one day, mind you.
Yes, within 24
with
hours.
the exception of his $400 million plane he
within
got from
24
Qatar.
hours, he was supposed to end all the wars. And there's what, 3, 4, 5 going on right now?
Mm-hmm.
I lost track.
So he originally nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize in November, mind you, before he had taken office, because he said that he was going to negotiate peace between not these warring countries, between the country that's attacking the other one. Let me say it how it is. But so he submitted the withdrawal as of Monday morning. This was last week. And so Trump returned to the White House in January, but he now has no Nobel Peace Prize nomination. He did for just a second.
Somebody give him a fake one from Temu. And then follow him around with cameras. You're going to see that framed on the wall in the White House. I got this Nobel Peace Prize.
Give him one where the N for Nobel Peace Prize falls off.
Yeah. From Temu, where it's all printed weird and like it's not even written proper English. Use AI to write it too. And list all his unachievements. Failure to stop the war within 24 hours.
Failure to get the eggs price down.
Mm-hmm. One success, renaming the Gulf of America that nobody recognizes except the idiots that follow your cult. You know, like,
my God. Jesus.
That's the one thing he never told you is the only thing you got so far out of this guy.
Oh my God. There was wait a minute. If I have it here. He had accomplishments. He declassified the JFK files. He ended federal support for paper straws, and he ended the production of the penny. That was
that helps us how? I'm sorry, that no more paper straws, so that helps us how?
Mm-hmm.
And no more production of the penny, that helps us how?
Because pennies, thank you, Rose Blue. Pennies cost apparently 1.3 cents to make. And so every time you make one, it costs us money. The reason we never discontinued them is because the penny has a lobby. The little disc that the penny is printed on is not printed by the United or made by the United States, is made by some company and they sell them to us. And so they cost us money.
I like what Shia C is saying. Give him the letter and it says rump, just like his watch. His $600 or $700 watch that says rump instead of Trump. Mm-hmm.
I can't believe people bought that. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Here's the topic here. J.D. Vance has an award himself. You'd like to hear about it? J.D. Vance is
best eyeliner,
best smoky.
I had another thumbnail that I wanted to use, but it wouldn't fit. It was a sofa that was stood up on its side, and it said J.D. Vance stood me up.
I still can't get over that picture that we saw, the meme that somebody posted on TikTok last year with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and JD Vance was fucking the couch.
that was the meme I had.
and RFK Jr. was on the cooler with a brain worm coming out of his.
Who, by the way, is also in the news because he wants us all to wear fitness trackers.
Uh-huh. You know what? Let's get Elon Musk to put one of those brain things in him.
Oh, good God.
Him and Trump. Mm-hmm.
That would be an improvement for Donald Trump, probably. Thank you, Acadian.
And then give the remote to little X so he can just keep running him into the wall like on PlayStation.
J.D. Vance is the most blocked person on Blue Sky. I want to know how he feels about such a thing.
How can you imagine what it would feel like to be that one guy that's so awkward and you know everybody hates you? Like everybody hates you. Everybody hates you. Everybody.
I don't know. Let's ask J.D. Vance, Stephen Miller, Elon Musk.
Here's the thing. J.D. Vance tries to be liked. Like he's like that. He's the pick me guy. Pick me, pick me, pick me. And nobody likes him at all. At all. At all.
Maybe Sealy Posturpedic, but that's about it.
He's the guy that you put the plastic sofa covers on before he comes to your house.
So he's the most blocked person on Blue Sky. How does he feel by such a thing?
Why is he even on Blue Sky?
That's what I want to know.
And is it really him, or is it like his staffers just trying to troll people and stuff? Like, so I'm asking, how does he feel about being the most?
He's the most blocked person on that entire platform.
Talk about achievements, dude. Don't in a way that makes people wake up every morning checking the obituaries to see if you're dead. Okay?
Actually makes him a little bit unhinged. I think he may try to put a friend up into taking some legal action against Blue Sky, because he's feeling the judgment, and the message is loud and clear here. But he's sneaky, so he may try to do something in secret, like get somebody to sue them or something. He feels backstabbed. He feels like he needs to kind of lay low on anything new with Blue Sky. He's anxious. What comes around goes around.
Rider, Bear, Whip, Mountain, and Bouquet. There's the visitor. So that would be him going. Power abuser, blocked. There's pleasure that he gets out of it. So it's almost like even
he gets off on it.
Yeah, he gets off on it. Even if it's not him, even if it's like a staffer, this would be the visitor, the person that's going to Blue Sky. Power abuse, blocked. So he's abusing his power. He's being blocked, whatever. But at the end, there's some sort of pleasure or joy that comes out of it. Like,
he likes to be abused.
or he likes the hate, or he likes to know that he's
under people's skin.
Getting under people's skin, agitating. This right here would be the person that is delivering the agitation is happy. Do you see what I'm saying? So, if it's him, he knows. If it's somebody else, he knows. But it's like he just doesn't care. It's like, what are you going to do? I'm still your boss, because the bear is there. You might block me, but I'm still the boss. I still control this. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the little kid. He reminds me of the guy in middle school or high school that would get bullied and they would shove him into the locker like they did in the movies, and he would sit there the whole, like, nobody knew where he was because he was locked in his locker, so.
And nobody went looking for him.
And nobody went looking for him. Like, that's who he is. He's that guy that, okay, now I'm going to get everybody. Ha ha ha. What are you going to do? I'm still the boss. You know what I mean? It's like, shut up. I hope you get it. I hope you get sty in your eye from your eyeliner.
Temperance, death, and the Hierophant. A part of him cares because he wants to be liked, but a part of him doesn't because he wants to be king. And so he wants to be head of the government. And there's a change in him, but the temperance is trying to balance your emotions. And so part of him cares because he wants to be liked. The part of him doesn't because he also wants to be feared and awed, like he sees Donald Trump doing. So,
and the thing is, if we hit the rewind button on the internet, because there's always a record on the internet, doesn't matter, it's always there. You can find plenty of videos where he's trash talking Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you want to emulate a person that you yourself can't stand?
Yeah.
Even if you get off on power and control, if you feel that way, then that's going to be a direct reflection of everybody else and how they're going to feel about you. So why would you want to emulate that? Like, I mean,
Greed and power turns a person into the person they did not recognize before.
I mean, truer words have never been spoken, Johnny, because I just don't get it.
Elon Musk and his EV credits are being slashed in the big, beautiful bill.
Ooh,
He's not happy.
of course he should.
You know, they had their little tizzy back and forth with him and Donald Trump when they called each other names and unfollowed each other on Facebook and Instagram.
The great divorce.
My question that we're going to read on, but my question is like, who thought of the slashing the EV? Because that's not a Donald Trump thing. He didn't give a crap about EVs. Somebody in there was like, yeah, let's slash EVs, and probably thought, just like Elon should have thought, electric vehicles are more than likely bought by blue-leaning people. And that's what Elon has sort of come to realize too when he pissed all of them off, type of thing. But my question is, will he lash out again? They've made up so far, but will he go back and start trashing Trump and his big, beautiful bill again when it passes?
Listen,
he said just the other day that it's going to cause massive loss in new jobs. That it's going to
GDP has already shrunk. Has already shrunk like 1.3, I think they said. So,
I mean, I think you could have found that information on duh.com. That's what I think.
That is petty. Duh.com.
I'm just saying.
All I'm saying is, Elon, I hope you do enough drugs to one day do a tell-all and go on camera from somewhere in Moscow and say, I helped him cheat and this is how we did it. Because he ain't gonna say that while he's here.
You know what would be a great podcast? Don Jr. and Elon Musk.
Oh,
wouldn't that be awesome?
Oh, good God.
Both of them sharing drugs. They have like a party tray out with all the party treats, piles of ketamine this high, high chairs so they can see over the pile of cocaine and ketamine to talk to each other.
He's there bouncing shit on his nose and
no, Johnny,
off to the side because he thinks
Johnny like this, like he was doing like this.
Yeah,
I still cannot believe that. Oh my God!
But tell me how Hunter Biden is a drug addict. Tell me how Hunter Biden is a drug addict. Go ahead.
Oh my God! He reached in his pocket and put his finger in his mouth and what the?
And Dr. Feelgood had to tell him they just caught that on camera.
Yeah, you on the camera, buddy. That ain't that. What's that? What you call them things back in the day? That little pixie powder. You had them little sticks that you put in fun dip
with the sugar in them, flavored sugar.
That was their fun dip. Lord have mercy. Ooh.
That'd be one snort for Don Jr.
Jesus Christ.
But they're outlawing paper straws, so Don, be careful.
Those weren't paper straws. Those were like the little paper tubes. Well, I mean, I guess
they were like paper straws.
Yeah.
Full of sugar.
I used to love those. The grape ones were my favorite, which is weird because I don't normally like grape flavored candy, but
don't taste nothing like grapes.
No, but for some reason, yeah, the pixie sticks.
Mm-hmm. That's because they wanted every child to be hooked on anything they could be hooked on. Or chewing gum was in a big bag that looked like snuff. Or candy was made in the shape of cigarettes and cigars. Mm-hmm. And the pixie sticks look like cocaine.
Cars had ashtrays all over the place. Remember that?
Yeah.
You're younger than I am, but I remember riding around in a freaking ashtray with my family. Like, I mean, you had the ashtray in the middle. You had one on each door in the front and back, and then in the center compartment in the back of the car. So like 6 ashtrays for a car for 5 people. People would put gas into the car, smoking a cigarette, like, what how did nobody catch fire?
Oh Jesus!
You're in the hospital giving birth, and the OBGYN is sitting there smoking a cigarette.
I just watched the thing where a man told another man he had tuberculosis. He was his doctor, and he was smoking while he did it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I used to watch that show Mad Men, and I would laugh so hard because I grew up in the 80s and it was still like that, but I imagine it was worse during the era of that show. But
one of my favorite lines in that show was the woman's child was running around the house with a plastic bag over her head. And she said, if my dry cleaning is on the floor, I'm going to be very angry. It's like,
your kid's going to suffocate to death.
Never mind your child's health. No, if my stuff is on the floor, you about to get it.
Make sure that bag is successful. So, Musk, you gonna attack Trump again? Yes. He's kind of done with them, so because he's blocked from his abundance as a businessman. So I think, because his money is being hampered, and he's feeling the constriction here. He's looking at things that he can manipulate and attack. You're going to hear more about the car industry also. But yeah, he's changing who he's putting money behind even. Yeah, he's going to continue to go after him and try to isolate him.
Johnny Sharon is saying that doctors used to do commercials for cigarettes from the 30s through the 50s. Holy
everybody
hell.
Smoked. Everybody smoked.
Doctors are doing like, this is great for your health.
Doctors in the movies. They lighten up. Everybody smoked.
I'm telling you, like that show Mad Men, when I used to watch it, I was just like, what the hell? Like, I remember growing up in the 80s and it was not to that level, but it was still like that. Like you could just smoke everywhere. In the restaurants, there was no clear.
On the airplanes, everywhere.
In Florida, before I left, they had designated smoking and non-smoking sections in the restaurants. When I was growing up, they didn't have that. The whole restaurant, you could smoke. It didn't matter where you sat. In movie theaters, everywhere. I get, yes, he will criticize him over a bill, and he'll do it. He'll put a lot of energy in that criticism. So there's criticism, bill, energy. So
3 of Wands, 6 of Swords. Yes, 3 of Wands is anticipation. It's going to happen soon, actually. The 6 of Swords, there's a lot of trying to transition away from him, which is going to bring me to Jen's question here. The 5 of Swords and the 3 of Pentacles, there's a defeat upon the collaboration. The Tower and the 4 of Pentacles, there is also a crumbling down of what it is that he's holding back. So it's all about to spill out. The 4 of Swords and the Page of Swords, which means he will be emotional when he does it. So this is going to be the stuff that stings. So he's not just going to come out and say, Donald Trump's a poor businessman. He's going to call him a name of some sort. And then Donald Trump's going to be upset because you can't call him names without calling you a name. And then
what did they think was going to happen? Everybody knows 2 narcissists cannot exist in the same space. What did they think? Well, I mean, I guess Elon Musk thought that he was a smarter one, and Trump is an idiot and he can just get whatever he wants without realizing that you can't really be smarter than the guy when you're not sober ever. And the guy, the only thing he's smart at is conning people.
And mind you, bear in mind, Elon, I mean, it's true, but he believes in his heart of hearts, Donald Trump would not be here if it wasn't for me. So you owe me everything. I am the kingmaker. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. And so he thinks he has some kind of leverage over the unhinged one. Mind you, he is owned by how many people now? He's got Netanyahu. He's got Vladimir Putin. He's got... You're just in line of the people who claim his soul. Guess who's going to do it first?
Take a number like you do at the DMV.
Yeah.
He owes everybody everything.
But this brings this question up. Does Trump need Elon Musk to rig anything else? Now that they got the game plan, does he just need one of these other entities to do it? Does he need Elon Musk for anything going forward here? Because you got to be useful to him. Otherwise, what's the point?
The only excuse I can make for Elon is that he's too much of a drug-induced high that he's completely unaware, and his narcissism, but there's a pile of bodies behind Trump.
Mhm.
There's like a mountain. There's a mountain the size of Everest of people that he's just discarded. And these people have lost everything. Everything.
And for what? A man who won't thank you, won't remember you, and doesn't care.
Does not give a shit. Look at my pillow guy.
Exactly. $10 million. Boom, gone overnight. Practically.
Everybody else has criminal charges and broke.
Lord Jesus, help me. The amount of things I could have done with $10 million, and you spent it on Donald John Trump.
I don't get it, Johnny.
I don't either.
It could have been more entertainment for him to go outside, put it in a dumpster, and set it on fire.
And keep himself warm in the winter or something.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
He is losing everything, and Donald Trump still doesn't care. And that's just one story.
Mike, who? You're gonna have to ask my staff about that. I don't know who that is. Watch. I bet you he won't even take his calls. Go straight to voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the White House on the bottom. People are not accepting the lie that Trump won. So he needs Elon to be quiet. He needs him to protect who all worked on this in secret. The treachery that was done, he needs him to be quiet. Or he needs him to be dead and 6 feet under. He needs him to, not put illumination on this. Does he need him for the votes? No, he's got other contracts that'll rig that and make sure that he grows enough. So does he need Elon for anything except to keep quiet? No.
Does he need him? No. Those are your ballots, your results, manipulated and growing. But it's already rooted. Do you see what I'm saying? The structure is already there. So you can manipulate ballots. You can make fraudulent ballots. The structure is already there. You can make ballots for your own growth. So this is, no, you're no longer needed.
The Three of Cups, the Six of Swords. The Three of Cups is a card of growth. The Six of Swords is a card of transition, moving forward, moving on. The bad part for Donald Trump, no, he doesn't need him technically, but the bad part of the Six of Swords is you carry baggage or old behavior with you. And so what needs Elon Musk is Donald Trump's dependency on money and grifting and things of that nature that he thinks Elon could possibly help him with.
He's already moving on.
Need that, but Donald Trump is a creature of habit. So if you have introduced me to something, I want it again. And so he's not going to run for a third term because he probably won't survive this one. But anyway, he won't run for a third term. But he does want things and accolades, and he wants to gain, he wants to grow and all that type of stuff. And that's where he thinks he could get it from. That would be his only use to Donald Trump. There's Elon, and then there's the security with the Nine of Pentacles. It would have to be around literally money and possessions and things of that nature. There is nothing else he could use him for.
And when you said money, you know who he's moved on to? Jeff Bezos. He's been courting Jeff Bezos. Which
Elon pay too, because he's got a space program he wants us to pay for.
We all know that Elon Musk's money, all of it is leveraged on Tesla. And that's in bad shape. Bad shape. So yeah, he doesn't. You know what? I want to see them rip each other apart and put that on pay-per-view, or no, not even pay-per-view. I don't want to have to pay. Let me watch it regular streaming.
Thank you, Mara. So last one, apparently, Anthony Weiner.
Oh God, why is he making an appearance again?
Apparently, he was also running for mayor there.
The worst last name ever.
I mean,
I haven't heard that name since what, 2016?
because he's been in jail and whatnot, and he's trying. He came out and did like a radio show. I think he had a podcast or something like that. So he's trying to put his name out there, and he was on the mea culpa tour, kind of like what you call it, Cohen, to where he's owning up to his behavior and so forth and so forth. So he thought he'd try his hat in the mayoral race, I believe. Didn't work. But I want to know, though, what does his political future look like? Anthony Weiner. Can he break back into politics?
You might win if you run against Diddy, but anybody else, you probably don't stand a chance.
Well, I mean, let's not forget Anthony Weiner was a Democrat, and the way that the Democrats are propping up Andrew Cuomo, he might just have a chance. I'm just saying.
Which, by the way, the jury's out in deliberation on the Diddy trial. Just a little quickie update.
And they dropped some of the charges, I think. Oh, Lord. That's hilarious. I've been fighting a sneeze for 2 hours. I can smell the tomatoes from over here.
Are they growing?
No, but the bush is getting a little tall there. I'm getting a little tree over there. But the trichomes or whatever it is, the little hairs push out. I can smell it.
I got my first cherry tomato ripened today.
Diddy likes wieners.
Wieners.
I've heard.
I can't get over the fact of that hot dog fast food place. It's called the Wiener something. Wiener Schnitzel.
Wiener Schnitzel.
Mm-hmm. His political future, the Bear Anchor Crossroads book and bouquet. He's going to get courted by people that have a bunch of money and want special interest and control over the elections. They're going to keep quiet. He'll have their backing. He's going to be like a preferred candidate of some sort. Grifts and favors and typical politics. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. There's several big financiers, people with a lot of money, that will back him in the election because they want favors, and they'll just keep this on the hush. I don't know about him winning elections. All I'm seeing is big, huge money is going to get behind him because they'll have purchased him and they'll have favor. It's only for their own self-interest. So, but I get big, huge money, loads of money right there. Power and finances, achievement and goals. That's the goal in the election. Keep it quiet, keep it hush hush. Do us the favor. And he might be also, I don't get the ring. I don't want to say that he's promising, but it's a two-way street. You don't take that sort of money because they're giving it to you out of the kindness of their heart. If that makes sense. But that's what I get.
I don't get good guards on him. I get bad news right on the bottom. It's like, trying to hang on, it's treachery. He's having to defend himself too much, and that burdens him. He'd be best to lay low. So do something, if he was in politics, do something like lobbying, something like that. How he structures anything he goes after will get illumination on it big time. So he would need to be very careful about anybody manipulating him, anybody, because I get like people try to figure out options for him. But as far as working in politics, no. Maybe a used car salesman.
I get money getting behind him here. The 6 of Pentacles would be payouts, and the 8 of Pentacles would be for work. There's the Justice, so I don't know if it's like a legal job of some kind, but he will be like their pet, or they're not pet, that's a bad word. He would be like their knight in shining armor, because that's what the Knight of Swords is. So he would be the person to push whatever agenda is that they have through. So maybe he can get some sort of AG position or try to lobby for that type of thing. I don't know if he's a lawyer or not. I think he is, but they usually are. But there's something here around a legal job. So maybe there's that. Okay. So next week on Jen Lynn's channel, and as I say every week, do not go to bed with politics in your system. Go watch something funny. As I suggested before, you can go watch Henry's Kitchen. He is a hoot and a holler. He is very strange, so you might like it. Go watch a recipe. That's what I'm going to go do.
Protest Thursday, July 4th. Look for one near you, and July 17th.
So we will see y'all when we see.
I thought it was on the 4th of July, Jen.
There's one July 4th, and there's another one July 17th.
And
No
July
Kings
4th,
is July
4th was Friday.
Is it Friday?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Friday. Yeah.
Friday. July 4th. I know it's July 4th, whatever day of the week that is.
Okay, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.